There's a rumor going around stating that the union is the cause of these actions, which is not correct. If we all know how unions operate on the mandate of its members. Okay? So we're going to clear that, whatever rumor, whenever it comes around, we're going to make it clear that that is not what it is. Okay? So, Madam President, duly noted. Okay? The union moves on the mandates of the members. The members are frustrated and disappointed with what has been happening with them for the last couple of years. Okay? With promotions and the growth of the fire department. We have a couple of members sitting down in the tribune right now, which finished their basic firefighting. 2020. We are now in 2025. According to the bevordering eisen, they needed to stay 2 years, get experience, which they done bypass already. And now they're going over to another 2 years. These same members are grown adults that needs to go to the bank. They need to go to the bank. They need to get a mortgage loan. 2,000 measly little guilders is not going to help them. The bank is going to turn them down. 5 years lost out of their growth. How are we going to do this? How? The same thing with the ambulance. Our go-slow started from Carnival, where the SCDF wanted us to park up our $1 million trucks over by the ball field. Okay? Over by the ball field. Those same tools that we need to use to assist with rescue. How is it possible? The disrespect is given, is seen from the hierarchy straight down to the low. So when is it going to stop? And as Madam President mentioned, when the bell rings, fire department is there. When are we going to be respected? How? We have the members of parliament which are elected. I choose not to run for government, that's not my thing. But I expect that the members sitting down there also have hair, which I believe we have also individuals that knows but belittles the fire department. Yes, we start on a low level, LBO, LTS, but we grow. We grow up to officers. Our education in the fire department is equivalent to the education outside there. And I expect that we are respected as such. Because when we come out there, there's nobody else but human beings. I need your help, sir. I need your help, sir. I need your help. Ooh, yeah. You know, the tension is very high, so I apologize for my little in-between breaks. 25 years I have worked in fire department. And it's a struggle. Every single time it comes to the fire department, it's always a fight. A fight. A fight. I need a strength, how you say, a stand of strength needs to be shown. Why? We are also fighting to get some retroactive, which is not based on our Minister of General Affairs. There's no legislation based on how it should be paid, how it should be paid. I think the bevordering eisen already telling you that if a candidate passes the exams and they have 2 years experience, the other years coming up behind of it should tell you, hey, their time for promotion has came and gone. So we need to look into that.
Comfort is a fool. A promise is a comfort to a fool. Enough is enough. I'm going to go ahead and add this one. A man is as good as his word. Okay? We took your word as the Council of Ministers and eased our go-slow back in April. You all gave us no choice other than to question your loyalty to your word. We stuck to our words. I stuck to my word when I signed and took the oath to serve the general public. I find you guys need to stick to your guys' word also. Okay? We had enough. Going back to, I don't know if you guys know what an A1 call is or A2 call, so I'm going to try to explain it as short as possible. An A1 call is an emergency call, high-speed priority, definition life-threatening or potentially life-threatening situations. Response time, ambulance must arrive within 15 minutes. Example, cardiac arrest, serious accidents, breathing difficulties, unconsciousness. That's an A1 call. An A2 call is an emergency call, minor dispute, less speed, low priority. Definition, urgent but not immediately life-threatening. Response time still urgent but less critical than an A1. Example, elderly person with a broken hip, someone who needs transportation but is stable. So just give you a definition of what an A1 and an A2 call is to show you what we go through every day. Okay? Thank you, Madam President.
Yes.
There's a narrative being created out there, like Mr. Chase mentioned, that the union president is the cause of this whole ruction. Also, the fire department want more money. The fire department is incompetent. Yes, you're hearing those things all the time. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Like Mr. Chase mentioned, is Parliament aware of our working hours? I guess not. We work 24 hours, and we're not even getting paid for the 24 hours. Our hours are chopped. 8 hours working, 50%, which is 4 hours, and then 2 hours rest hours. Do you know what time the calls are coming in? During the rest hours, 4-day morning. And we're getting 14 hours paid by government. I have a document here that we was fighting from since July 10th, 2016. And this meeting was scheduled with the SG, Asset, P&O, the fire department, WICSU PSU, and representative of the fire department. I don't know if I could share this document so that you have a view or vision of what it is we're talking about and what it is we was fighting for, because it have A, B, C, D. The last one is the function book, and we only buy the function book from since 2016. We never went any further because the narrative have been created out there. They just want more money. Just give them a sweet, keep them calm. That's what you're hearing outside here. The fire department is linked to an institution in the Netherlands. Anytime you see a firefighter walking on the street, it's because he has to go through a certain education system, a process. Even the driver. I hear Mr. Eusebius mention just now that when they're responding to certain calls, that driver is responsible to carry the firefighters and equipment safely to the scene and back. That's a huge responsibility that you don't want to acknowledge. Besides that, I am a plus chef, shift captain. I lead 14 to 15 people on my shift. every day I have to motivate them. Like Mr. Chase mentioned again, those youngsters that's passed in 2020, because they finished in 2020, we started the course in March 2019 during COVID. It was halted, and we started back, I think, end 2019, so it ran up to September 2020. 5 years long, they have been surfing behind the truck. And up to today, they cannot receive any pay because they pass that level.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
The Ministry of Vromi, Department of Infrastructure Management, together with the Police Department, KPSM, is making changes to traffic on a section of Canagita Street and Manzanella Stake, Phillipsburg. The Canagita Street from the intersection with Percy LaBega Street to Manzanella Stake will now be a one-way street. Inbound traffic can enter Canagita Street from Percy LaBega Street and drive straight ahead or turn left into Manzanella Stake. Outbound traffic leaving town on Canagita Street must make a right turn onto Manzanella Stake. Entry further into the Canagita Street will no longer be permitted. Outbound traffic exiting Manzanella Stake onto Walton Nisbet Road can either make a right or left-hand turn. The Ministry of Vromi, Department of Infrastructure Management, and the Police Department would like to thank the public for their attention to this change. Please follow the new traffic rules and signage and drive safely.
(24/7) TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Director informed the shareholder by letter dated the 17th of June that the supervisory board was not in agreement with the opinion of the shareholder. Instead, the SBOD, the supervisory board, proposed the following measures that they consider relief for the people of St. Martin. Existing relief measure highlighted by the Supervisory Board of Directors is in June in two letters. They were first in June 2nd and afterward in June the 18th. First, the supervisory board deferred a payment plan. That is what they say that they call relief to the people. And they had a deferred payment plan that they proposed to the consumers. Secondly, they mentioned in the letter that they had payment extensions agreement with consumers or postponement of payment settlements with consumers. They had the way they say, a proactive communication with the populace. They were putting stress and accent on education, on water and energy conservation, and they was in sympathy and in continuation of a senior citizen relief program that was already at place. A meeting was held with me as Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, with 3 members of the Supervisory Board of Directors and the temporary manager of NVGB on July the 2nd, 2025. In this meeting, I stressed the importance for relief measures to be laid out to all residential customers of GB who have suffered as a result of the ongoing issues and the high costs of bills. I reiterate in that meeting of the 2nd, important for me was for them from the GEB to realize that at the end of the day, my accent is to bring a relief across the board for the consumers. During this meeting, we were informed by the GEBE that it was in the process of pursuing a 25,000 Caribbean guilder per month relief target for discount to be applied to the most vulnerable households in collaboration with Social Services Department of our government. So in that meeting, they said, you know, Prime Minister, we believe in relief too, but we want, what we can offer the people is a 25,000 for the most vulnerable in our society, and we are going to do that in coordination with the Social Services Department. It should be noted that as an outcome of this meeting on July the 2nd, where the importance of wider relief was repeatedly highlighted by me, the amount was subsequently doubled by GB in a correspondence from the Supervisory Board on July the 18th. So on July the 2nd, GB tells me, Prime Minister, we are going to do it our way. I have, of course, no saying in that. They're going to present 25,000 guilders being shared with the most vulnerable group. I'm listening to them in that meeting on the 2nd, and I tell them, wait a minute, this is not enough. And then in a correspondence on June the 18th, they told me, Prime Minister, after deliberating with you, we are going to double up instead of 25,000 guilders in a program that we started in negotiations already with the social department of your government. We are going to double up and we're going to make it 50,000 for the most vulnerable group. And the criteria for that was going to be negotiated between GEBE and the social department, social affairs.
Prime Minister, I'll give you a brief opportunity to catch your breath while I allow MP Otley to make an interruption. MP Otley.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, while I was enjoying the show, I had to interrupt because, again, fooling the people. Coming here, speaking Dutch, reading, just fooling the people, and I have presented over and under an invoice, Madam Chair, from Seoul, where TOT is being transferred. So we crazy. Madam Chair, stop, not you, Madam Chair, for the public listening. Madam Chair, to the Honorable Prime Minister, stop fooling the people. The proof is in the pudding. I have been screaming this song for too long. No matter what you read today, through you, Madam Chair, the proof is in the pudding. And in that case, then we need to fix it, Madam Chair, because it's being done. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Otley. Prime Minister, you may continue.
TOT that this member of parliament is talking about is the TOT on fuel that he states that he has the proof on the pudding, but this TOT is for fuel that goes to the gas station to be sold again to the consumer for his car. On that you pay TOT, but you do not pay TOT on the fuel that is being used by GB to generate energy. And the bill that he's talking about is for the fuel tariff for consumption by the gas station, and on that people are paying TOT. But it's not correct to state that TOT is being paid when the fuel is being directed to GEBE for the generation of energy. It is also important to know there is no TOT on the throughput fee. I thought, okay, we cannot do nothing. Whatever there is a TOT on, I thought, let me look if I can waive that TOT, and with that gain, I can give it as relief. First, I did it with the TOT of the transaction between SOL and GB. I realized there is no TOT in that. Secondly, I thought, everybody talks about this throughput fee. Let me go and see if I can do it with the throughput fee. Also, there is no TOT on the throughput fee that is being paid from SOL to the harbor. So there again, I lose an opportunity to make some money to throw on the relief, their desire that I have for the people. Slide 11. As we continue to work diligently on the relief measures with NVGB, I can mention that in close collaboration with the Ministry of Finance, we are exploring the most effective ways for government to provide direct relief to the additional households.
Prime Minister, I will once again allow MP Otley to make an interruption. MP Otley.
Madam Chair, again, lying. Again, I have here an invoice from SOL to the harbor. Service TOT from SOL directly to the harbor of St. Martin. Again, speaking of what should not and what is happening is two different things. Madam Chair, for clarity, what the Honorable Prime Minister spoke about for GEBE as well is not what I wave and show that the government is charging TOT to the consumer for fuel at the pumps. Again, it was a bill from SOL directly to GEBE, as this bill as well from SOL directly to the harbor. The Honorable Prime Minister is saying, no, we have it. I just don't want to publicly, but I can show it to you. Stop lying. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Otley. Prime Minister, you may continue.
Madam Chair, for clarity's sake, fuel is imported in St. Martin. The fuel that goes to GB, SOL is not paying TOT on it. The same fuel that goes to the gas station, SOL is paying TOT. So you will see an invoice with TOT on it coming from GEBE that SOL is charging. Because the landsverradering said there is an exemption the moment the fuel goes for the production of electricity. It doesn't say that there is a TOT exemption for the same fuel that goes for the consumption to get the cars going on the roads. So, of course, you will see an invoice with TOT on it for that section of the fuel that comes from SOL that goes to the gas stations to sell to the cars.
We have decided a 5-phase plan of approach. Phase 1, data verification and compliance review. We're doing that between July and August, that full cleanup. And once I have that complete cleanup done, I will again come back and inform the public. So this cleanup means clean up transportation permit records, verifying compliance with insurance, road tax inspections, establishing a database of active versus dormant. Phase 2, which sets to happen hopefully between August, September, is permit rationalization and driver certification. So revoking of non-compliant dormant permits with appeal process, launch certification programs on island knowledge customer service safety, and require medical checkups. I'm going to be making that mandatory. Phase 3, which is set to happen in Q2 or Q3 of 2026, legislation framework. So draft amendments to the passenger traffic ordinance, pilot mandatory digital dispatching. So I'm going to be launching a digital dispatching. It's going to be mandatory. And of course, all of these I'm going to mention is going to be with stakeholder engagement. I will not announce these things unless I sit with the stakeholders and have their opinion as well before we go into making it mandatory. But it will be mandatory. And then phase 4, which is also around 2027, is submit finalized legislation to Parliament, consolidate into a unified transport policy. And then phase 5, which is set for, I think, 2028 or late 2027, create a central authority to oversee public transportation. So a transportation authority will be in the future implemented. And the transition responsibilities from government to the authority. So that means no more government interference with the transportation. There will be an authority in place with laws to support it. So timeline at a glance is between 2025, the cleanup and the certification. So 2026, we're looking at law drafting and dispatching pilot. And then 2027, final law pass and transportation authority established. That's the 5 phases that we plan to take, and we will be informing the public accordingly and engaging with stakeholders. So at the same time, we're strengthening collaboration between Dell, my 3 departments, or our 3 departments, Dell, IETA, and the receiver's office to ensure database are consistent and protocols enforced and standards upheld. And the confirmation letter process will remain an annual exercise to ensure compliance. And in closing, I want to ensure the public and the industry that this matter has my full attention. And it's going to take some time, but we're going to get there. My team and I remain committed to building a transparent, accountable, and sustainable public transportation system, one that serves residents and visitors while protecting the integrity of the industry.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, Com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Indeed, as part of all government projects that are undertaken, project management is a key component of this, of all projects. The project management actually is undertaken by the Department of New Works. I haven't heard any complaints about what contractually has to be done has not been done. I will bring this information to my team at New Works Department and ask for their reports about anything that's come up. But in fact, and indeed, yes, inspections are supposed to happen regularly. There are supposed to be certain benchmarks that are achieved throughout the process. There's also a certain amount of work that has to be achieved before you can disburse a certain amount of funds. And with every project within government, a certain checklist has to be achieved, i.e. the benchmarks, before that disbursement can happen. So the project is managed within a certain structure. I haven't heard complaints as stated, but I will, of course, take this information back to the team to see how we can sort of verify these statements being made. So thank you.
There's also been some discussions about car wrecks on the island. That's also a very time-consuming process. Is there any thoughts from your perspective how you can streamline this process? And also, for example, you know who the owner of the boat was? Is government going to do anything to try and recover costs or damages from that? And same thing for car wrecks. You can find their VIN numbers. Although they take the plates off, you can find the VIN numbers. You can find out who owned them. So you can always go back to them to recoup your costs.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the question, Emil. Let me address first the issue of the car wrecks. I think it's something we've been discussing quite a lot in the Council of Ministers, that the impression is sort of given that car wrecks are not being removed. In fact, what's happening is that we're removing car wrecks almost daily. The reality is, and I keep stressing this a lot in my press statements, garbage is not government's problem. If we don't look at our role in garbage disposal, what we put out, what we allow to put out, if you see your neighbor has a car wreck and you know that he's put the car wreck there in March, and now we're in August, a whole year later, the car wreck is still there, inform government, let government know. Not that necessarily you want to be sort of an informant to government, but also recognize that the problem is not necessarily government. Government is supposed to kind of collect the garbage, the car wrecks, but oftentimes the plates are gone, but the VIN numbers are scratched off. But we are something that we regularly clean up. I made a mention of a figure actually about in the 5-digit figures of how much money is spent annually on average on car collection. That is an astronomical number in my view, and it's something that we are addressing through regular controls, but also within the waste ordinance, which is a part of the larger sort of landfill EDMP project, is actually the fact that the waste ordinance we have doesn't really give ROMI the legal power to issue fines. So what ROMI can do is basically write a letter asking whoever, if we know the owner of a vehicle or any kind of waste, to basically remedy the situation. Otherwise, it has to go through the side of justice. And of course, that is a very long trajectory, given that via the prosecutor's office and justice system, there's a lot of other cases which have a higher priority than, for example, a fine regarding a car wreck. But we are actively working. Again, what I recommend is that come out on September 3rd as well. And that information will also be shared about how basically the waste ordinance is going to become a tool to help us as government not only sort of look at the idea of bringing home the message that garbage is everybody's concern, but also what we as government will do as a tool to make sure we mitigate and find those who kind of create this situation for the whole community.